Saturn, mythology. 80 languages. Saturn, god of the capital, time, wealth, agriculture, and liberation. Saturn wearing his toga capite velato and holding a sickle, fresco from the house of the Dioscuri at Pompeii, Naples Archaeological Museum. Saturn, Latin, Sternus, Saturnus, was a god in ancient Roman religion and a character in Roman mythology. He was described as a god of time, generation, dissolution, abundance, wealth, agriculture, periodic renewal and liberation. Saturn's mythological reign was depicted as a golden age of abundance and peace. After the Roman conquest of Greece, he was conflated with the Greek titan Cronus. Saturn's consort was his sister Ops, with whom he fathered Jupiter, Neptune, Pluto, Juno, Ceres and Vesta. Saturn was especially celebrated during the festival of Saturnalia each December, perhaps the most famous of the Roman festivals, a time of feasting, role reversals, free speech, gift-giving and revelry. The Temple of Saturn in the Roman Forum housed the state treasury and archives Aerorum of the Roman Republic and the early Roman Empire. The planet Saturn and the day of the week Saturday are both named after and were associated with him. Mythology, edit. The Roman land preserved the remembrance of a very remote time during which Saturn and Janus reigned on the site of the city before its foundation. The capital was called Mons Saturnius. 4. The Romans identified Saturn with problems donating. Other ways to give frequently asked questions. We never sell your information. By submitting, you are agreeing to our donor privacy policy. The Wikimedia Foundation is a non-profit, tax-exempt organization. If you make a recurring donation, you will be debited by the Wikimedia Foundation until you notify us to stop. We'll send you an email, which will include a link to easy cancellation instructions. I already donated. How often would you like to donate? One time give monthly. Please select an amount, USD. The average donation in the United States is around $13. $2.75, $10, $15, $25, $50, $75, $100 other. Please select a payment method. Maybe later. 1. Suzo RCN. 2. 3. Continue. The Internet we were promised. The 21st of November, an important update for readers in the United States. You deserve an explanation, so please don't skip this 1-minute read. It's Thursday, the 21st of November, and this message will be up only briefly. Please read on how often you've visited Wikipedia this year and if you're able to give $2.75 to the Wikimedia Foundation. If everyone reading this gave $2.75, we'd hit our goal in a few hours. The Internet we were promised, a place of free, collaborative, and accessible knowledge, is under constant threat. On Wikipedia, volunteers work together to create and verify the pages you rely on, supported by tools that undo vandalism within minutes, ensuring the information you seek is trustworthy. Just 2% of our readers donate, so if you have given in the past and Wikipedia still provides you with $2.75 worth of knowledge, donate today. If you are undecided, remember any contribution helps, whether it's $2.75 or $25. proud host of Wikipedia and its sister sites. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Major cult center: Temple of Saturn. Abode: Capitoline Hill. Planet Saturn, 1. Symbol: sickle, scythe, veil. Day: Saturday. Gender: male. Festival: Saturnalia. Genealogy: parents Silas and Terra. Siblings: Janus, Ops. Consort: Ops. Children: Jupiter, Neptune, Pluto, Juno, Ceres, and Vesta. Equivalents: Etruscan Satyr. Greek Kronos. By Saturn they seek to represent that power which maintains the cyclic course of times and seasons. This is the sense that the Greek name of that god bears, for he is called Kronos, which is the same as Chronos or time. Saturn for his part got his name because he was sated with years, the story that he regularly devoured his own children is explained by the fact that time devours the courses of the seasons, and gorges itself insatiably on the years that are past. Saturn was enchained by Jupiter to ensure that his circuits did not get out of control, and to constrain him with the bonds of the stars. Quintus Lucilius Balbus. As quoted by Cicero, 9. The Greek Kronos, whose myths were adapted for Latin literature and Roman art. In particular, Kronos's role in the genealogy of the Greek gods was transferred to Saturn. As early as Andronicus, 3rd century BC, Jupiter was called the son of Saturn. 5. Saturn had two mistresses who represented different aspects of the god. The name of his wife, Ops, the Roman equivalent of Greek Rhea, means wealth, abundance, resources. 6. The association with Ops is considered a later development, however, as this goddess was originally paired with Consus. 7. p. 244, earlier was Saturn's association with Lua, destruction, dissolution, loosening, a goddess who received the blooded weapons of enemies destroyed in war. 8. Under Saturn's rule, humans enjoyed the spontaneous bounty of the earth, without labor in the Golden Age described by Hesiod and Ovid. He became known as the god of time. Etymology and epithets, edit. According to Varro, 10, Saturn's name was derived from Satis, meaning sowing. Even though this etymology is problematic from the viewpoint of modern linguistics, for, while historically motivated vowel length alternations do occur in Latin roots, the long A with macron in sternus in particular remains unexplained. With this etymology, and also because of the epigraphically attested form C. Turnus, 11, nevertheless it does reflect an original feature of the god. 12. p. 144, perhaps a more probable etymology connects the name with the Etruscan god Satyr and Plasa names such as Satria, an ancient town of Latium, and Satyri Palace, a marsh also in Latium. This root may be related to Latin phytonym Satyria. 13. Like Satis, however, Satyria, Satyri Palace, and probably also Satria, as indeed the apparently closely related Satricum, all also have a shorter in the first syllable versus the long A with macron of sternus. Another epithet, variably sterculius, stercutus, and stursis, referred to his agricultural functions. 14. The 1st of July 1925, this derives from stercus, dung or manure, referring to re-emergence from death to life. 15. Farming was important to Roman identity, and Saturn was a part of archaic Roman religion and ethnic identity. His name appears in the ancient hymn of the Salian priests, 16, and his temple was the oldest known in the records of the pontiffs. Quintus Lucilius Balbus gives a separate etymology in Cicero's De Natura Deorum. 9. In this interpretation, the agricultural aspect of Saturn would be secondary to his primary relation with time and seasons, since time consumes all things. Balbus asserts that the name Saturn comes from the Latin word satis, Saturn being an anthropomorphic representation of time, which is filled, or satiated, by all things or all generations. Since farming is so closely linked to seasons and therefore an understanding of the cyclical passage of time, it follows that agriculture would then be associated with the deity Saturn. Temple, edit. The Temple of Saturn was located at the base of the Capitoline Hill, according to a tradition recorded by Varro, 17, formerly known as Saturnius Mons, and a row of columns from the last rebuilding of the temple still stands. 6. The temple was Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Ruins of the Temple of Saturn, 8. Columns to the far right, in February 2010. With 3 columns from the Temple of Vespasian and Titus, left, and the Arch of Septimius Severus, center. Consecrated in 497 BC, but the area Saturni was built by King Tullus Hostilius as confirmed by archaeological studies conducted by Egestad. 18. It housed the state treasury, Aerum, throughout Roman history. Festivals time, edit. The position of Saturn's festival in the Roman calendar led to his association with concepts of time, especially the temporal transition of the new year. In the Greek tradition, Chronos was sometimes conflated with Chronos, time, and his devouring of his children taken as an allegory for the passing of generations. As such, the Roman Saturn had similar associations. The sickle or scythe of Father Time is a remnant of the agricultural implement of Cronus Saturn, and his aged appearance represents the waning of the old year with the birth of the new, in antiquity sometimes embodied by Orion. In late antiquity, Saturn is syncretized with a number of deities, and begins to be depicted as winged, as is Kairos, timing, right time. 19. In Roman religion, edit. Theology and worship, edit. The figure of Saturn is one of the most complex in Roman religion. Dumézil refrained from discussing Saturn in his work on Roman religion on the grounds of insufficient knowledge. 7. Conversely, however, his follower Dominique Breukel has attempted a thorough interpretation of Saturn utilizing Dumézil's three-functional theory of Indo-European religion, taking the ancient testimonies and the works of Abrilic and G. Picaluga as his basis. 12. 20. The main difficulty scholars encounter in studying Saturn lies in determining how much is original to his Roman character and how much the product of later Hellenizing influences. Moreover, some features of the god may be common to Cronus but are nonetheless very ancient and can be considered proper to the Roman god, whereas others are certainly later and arrived after 217 BCE, the year in which the Greek customs of the Chronia were introduced into the Saturnalia. 12. p. 142 ff. Breukel's analysis, edit. Among the features which are definitely authentic of the Roman god, Brickell identifies 1. The time of his festival in the calendar, which corresponds to the date of the consecration of his temple. The Greek Chronia on the other hand took place in June-July. 2. His association with Lua Mater, and 3. The location of his cult on the capital, which goes back to remote times. 21. These three elements in Brickell's view indicate that Saturn is a sovereign god. The god's strict relationship with the cults of the Capitoline Hill and in particular with Jupiter are highlighted by the legends concerning the refusal of gods Euventars and Terminus to leave their abode in the shrines on the Capitol when the temple of Jupiter was to be built. These two deities correspond to the helper gods of the sovereign in Vedic religion. Brickell, 12, refers to Dhritarashtra and Vidura, the figures of the Mahabharata, and to the Cyclopes and Hekatunchayas in Hesiod. Whereas the helper gods belong to the second divine generation, they become active only at the level of the third in each of the three instances of India, Greece and Rome, where they become a sort of continuation of Jupiter. C. Dumézil postulated a split of the figure of the sovereign god in Indo-European religion, which is embodied by Vedic gods Varuna and Mitra. 22. Of the two, the first one shows the aspect of the magic, uncanny, or inspiring power of creation and destruction, while the second shows the reassuring aspect of guarantor of the legal order in organized social life. Whereas in Jupiter these double features have coalesced, Brickell, 12, sees Saturn as showing the characters of a sovereign god of. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. The Varunian type. His nature becomes evident in his mastership over the annual time of crisis around the winter solstice. Epitomized in the power of subverting normal codified social order and its rules, which is apparent in the festival of the Saturnalia, in the mastership of annual fertility and renewal, in the power of annihilation present in his Padra, equals divine associate / companion deity, Allure, in the fact that he is the god of a timeless era of abundance and bounty before time, which he reinstates at the time of the yearly crisis of the winter solstice. In Roman and Etruscan reckoning, Saturn is a wielder of lightning, no other agricultural god, in the sense of specialized human activity, is one. 23. D. Hence the mastership he has on agriculture and wealth cannot be that of a god of the third function, i.e. of production, wealth, and pleasure, but it stems from his magical lordship over creation and destruction. Although these features are to be found in Greek god Cronus as well, it appears that those features were proper to Roman. Saturn's most ancient aspects, such as his presence on the Capitol and his association with Jupiter, who in the stories of the arrival of the Pelasgians in the land of the Sicels, 24:14, 1.7.2731, and that of the Argier orders human sacrifices to him. 25. Brickell concludes that Saturn was a sovereign god of a time that the Romans perceived as no longer actual, that of the legendary origins of the world, before civilization. 12. p. 155. Roman cult practices, edit. Sacrifices to Saturn were performed according to Greek rite, ritus Graecus, with the head uncovered, in contrast to those of other major Roman deities, which were performed capite velato, with the head covered. Saturn himself, however, was represented as veiled, involutus, as for example in a wall painting from Pompeii that shows him holding a sickle and covered with a white veil. This feature is in complete accord with the character of a sovereign god of the Varunian type and is common with German god Odin. Brückel remarks Servius had already seen that the choice of the Greek rite was due to the fact that the god himself is imagined and represented as veiled, thence his sacrifice cannot be carried out by a veiled man. This is an instance of the reversal of the current order of things typical of the nature of the deity as appears in its festival. 26. Plutarch writes his figure is veiled because he is the father of truth. 27. Pliny notes that the cult statue of Saturn was filled with oil. The exact meaning of this is unclear. 28. Its feet were bound with wool, which was removed only during the Saturnalia. 14. 1.8.5. The fact that the statue was filled with oil and the feet were bound with wool may relate back to the myth of the castration of Uranus. In this myth Rhea gives Cronus a rock to eat in Zeus's stead, thus tricking Cronus. Although mastership of knots is a feature of Greek origin, citation needed, it is also typical of the Varunian sovereign figure, as apparent for example in Odin. Once Zeus was victorious over Cronus, he sets this stone up at Delphi and constantly it is anointed with oil and strands of unwoven wool are placed on it. 29. The stone wore a red cloak. 30. And was brought out of the temple to take part in ritual processions. 31. And lectistonia, banquets at which images of the gods were arranged as guests on couches. 6. All these ceremonial details identify a sovereign figure. Cult outside Rome, edit. Little evidence exists in Italy for the cult of Saturn outside Rome, but his name resembles that of the Etruscan god Saturn. The potential cruelty of Saturn was enhanced by his identification with Cronus, known for devouring his own children. He was thus used in translation when referring to gods from other cultures the Romans perceived as severe. He was equated with the Carthaginian god Baal-Hamon, to whom children were sacrificed, and to Yahweh, whose Sabbath was referred to as Saturnides, Saturn's Day in a poem by Tibullus, who wrote during the reign of Augustus. Eventually this gave rise to the word Saturday in English. 6. The identification with Baal-Hamon later gave rise to the African Saturn, a cult that enjoyed great popularity until the 4th century. Besides being a popular cult, it also had the character of a mystery religion and required child sacrifices. It is also considered as inclining to monotheism. 32. In the ceremony of initiation the mist initiate, intrat subiugum, enters beneath the yoke, a ritual that Legley compares to the Roman tigellum sorum. 32. pp. 385-386. Even though their origin and theology are completely different, the Italic and the African god are both sovereign and master over time and death, a fact that has permitted their association. However, the African Saturn is not directly derived from the Italic god, but rather from his Greek counterpart, Cronus. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF relief held by the Louvre thought to depict the veiled throne of Saturn, either a Roman work of the 1st century CE or a Renaissance copy. Saturnalia, edit. Main article, Saturnalia. Saturn is associated with a major religious festival in the Roman calendar, Saturnalia. Saturnalia celebrated the harvest and sowing, and ran from December 1723. During Saturnalia, the social restrictions of Rome were relaxed. The figure of Saturn, kept during the year with its legs bound in wool, was released from its bindings for the period of the festival. 14. 1.8.5. The revelries of Saturnalia were supposed to reflect the conditions of the lost Golden Age before the rule of Saturn was overthrown, not all of them desirable, except as a temporary relief from civilized constraint. The Greek equivalent was the Chronia. 33. Macrobius, 5th century CE, presents an interpretation of the Saturnalia as a festival of light leading to the winter solstice. 34, 14, 1.1.89. The renewal of light and the coming of the new year was celebrated in the later Roman Empire at the Dies Natalis of Sol Invictus, the birthday of the unconquerable sun on the 25th of December. 35. Roman legend, edit. It was customary for the Romans to represent divine figures as kings of Latium at the time of their legendary origins. Macrobius states explicitly that the Roman legend of Janus and Saturn is an affabulation, as the true meaning of religious beliefs cannot be openly expressed. 14. The 1st of July, 2018, in the myth, 14, 1.9.36. Saturn was the original and autochthonous ruler of the Capitolium, which had thus been called the Mons Saturnius in older times and on which once stood the town of Saturnia. 14. The 1st of July, 1927, 1.10.4, 37, he was sometimes regarded as the first king of Latium or even the whole of Italy. 38, p. 138139, at the same time. There was a tradition that Saturn had been an immigrant god, received by Janus after he was usurped by his son Jupiter and expelled from Greece. In Vesnell's view his contradictions a foreigner with one of Rome's oldest sanctuaries, and a god of liberation who is kept in fetters most of the year indicate Saturn's capacity for confounding social distinctions. 38, pp 139, 142-143. The golden age of Saturn's reign in Roman mythology differed from the Greek tradition. He arrived in Italy dethroned and fugitive, 38, p. 143, but brought agriculture and civilization for which he was rewarded by Janus with a share of the kingdom, becoming himself king. As the Augustan poet Virgil described it, he gathered together the unruly race of fauns and nymphs scattered over mountain heights, and gave them laws. Under his reign were the Golden Age's men tell of, in such perfect peace he ruled the nations. 39. He was considered the ancestor of the Latin nation as he fathered Picus, the first king of Latium, who married Janus's daughter Canans and in his turn fathered Faunus. Saturn was also said to have founded the 5 Saturnian towns of Latium, Ultrium, today Eletri, Anagnia, Anagni, Arpinum, Arpino, Aetina and Frontinum, Frontino, also known as Antinum, all located in the Latin Valley, province of Frosinone. All these towns are surrounded by Cyclopean walls, their foundation is traditionally ascribed to the Pelasgians. 40. But Saturn also had a less benevolent aspect, as indicated by the blood shed in his honor during gladiatorial munera. His consort in archaic Roman tradition was Allura, sometimes called Allura Saturni, Saturn's Allura, and identified with Allura Mater, Mother Destruction, a goddess in whose honor the weapons of enemies killed in war were burned, perhaps as expiation. 6. Vesnell, however, proposed that Allura Saturni should not be identified with Allura Mater, but rather refers to loosening. She thus represents the liberating function of Saturn. 38, p. 144. Gladiatorial munera, edit. Saturn's chthonic nature connected him to the underworld and its ruler Dispater, the Roman equivalent of Greek Platon. Pluto in Latin, who was also a god of hidden wealth. G. In 3rd century AD sources and later, Saturn is recorded as receiving. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Aletris main gate of the Cyclopean walls. Saturn driving a quadriga on. The reverse of a denarius issued by Saturninus. Gladiatorial offerings, munera, during or near the Saturnalia. 41, 38, p. 144145. These gladiator combats, 10 days in all throughout December, were presented by the quaestus and sponsored with funds from the treasury of Saturn. H. The practice of gladiatorial munera was criticized by Christian apologists as a form of human sacrifice. 6, 38, p. 146, although there is no evidence of this practice during the Republican era, the offering of gladiators led to later theorizing that the primeval Saturn had demanded human victims. Macrobius says that Dispater was placated with human heads and Saturn with sacrificial victims consisting of men, virum victimis. 14, the 1st of July 1931, 38, p. 146, the figurines that were exchanged as gifts, sigillaria, during the Saturnalia may have represented token substitutes. 43, 14, the 1st of October 1924. On coins, edit. In 104 BCE, the plebeian tribune Lucius Apuleius Saturninus issued a denarius depicting Saturn driving a 4-horse chariot, quadriga, a vehicle associated with rulers, triumphing generals, and sun gods. Saturninus was a popularist politician who had proposed reduced price grain distribution to the poor of Rome. The head of the goddess Roma appears on the obverse. The Saturnian imagery played on the tribune's name and his intent to alter the social hierarchy to his advantage, by basing his political support on the common people, plebs, rather than the senatorial elite. 38, p. 162. See also, edit. Planets in astrology. Saturn. Satyr, Etruscan god. Saturnalia. Footnotes, edit. A. Saturnia Italia, it mons, qui nuncist Capitolinus, Saturnius appellabacea, quod in tutela Saturni s existimenta. Saturnii. Quoque dispenta, qui castrum in imo clivo Capitolino incolabant, ubara diacata ei deo ante bellum Troianum vidta. 2. B. Carita Patra dicta meo quindam Saturnia Roma estimated. 3. C. Carita Juventas shows a clear Varunian character in the liaison of Romulus with the Euvens, the young soldiers, terminus hosa mitron. Character even though he shows Varunian traits in allowing the enlargement of the borders, propagatio finium. Brickell, 12, p. 134 n8. D. Saturn's lightning bolts are those of wintertime. E. Found on the Piacenza liver, see also Martianus Capella 1.58, Mueller, 2010. 6. F. The Roman theologian Marcus Terentius Varro listed Saturn among the Sabine gods. 38, p. 139. G. See also the Etruscan god Satyr. H. 8 days were subsidized from the imperial treasury, Arca Fish, and 2 mostly by the sponsoring magistrate himself. 42. For other Roman practices that may represent substitutes for human sacrifice, see Argia and Ocilla, the latter of which were used also at the Latin Festival and the Compitalia. 44. References, edit. 1 Evans, James, 1998. The History and Practice of Ancient Astronomy. Oxford University Press. pp. 2967. ISBN 978-0-19-509539-5. Retrieved 4 February 2008. 2 Festus. Saturnia. 430 L. 3 Ovid. Fasti. 6, 31. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. 4 B. Liaugils Nicens de la Ligue Latin. Mythid Cult. De Fondation in Revue Belge de Philologie et de Histoire 74. 1 pp. 7397, 75. Do. 10.3004/rbph.1996.4096. Citing Festus, A, and Ovid. B. 5 Saturni Filius, FRG. 2 in the edition of Barons. 6 ABCDEFG. Müller, Hans Friedrich, 2010. Saturn. Oxford. Encyclopedia of Ancient Greece and Rome. Oxford. University Press. p. 222. 7 AB Dumézil, G. 1977, 1974. La Religion Romaine. Archaic, Italian translation ed. Paris, fr/Milan, IT. Part I, Chap. 5, page 244245. 8 G. Dumézil, 1968, 1959, Allua Mater Indices Latins. It Myths Vedics Bruxelles pp. 98-115. Dumézil compared this Roman figure with Indian deity Niti. 9 AB Cicero, Marcus Tullius, 2008, 45 BCE. De Natura Deorum, On the Nature of the Gods. Translated by Walsh. P.G. In German, reissue ed. Oxford, UK, Oxford. University Press. Book 2, Part 2, C/pages 69-70. ISBN 978-0-19-954006-8. 10 Marcus Terentius Varro. De Lingua Latina. 5.64. 11 Corpus Inscriptionum Latinarum. I. 2nd 449. 12 ABCDEFGHIJKLM. Brickell, D. 1981. Jupiter, Saturn Hitler Capital. SI de Compares or Indo-Européen. Revue de l'Histoire. Religions. 198, 21311622, 10.3404/HR.1981.4889. 13 A. Lesho, G. 1949. Crusati, Taranto, ed. Gentii Favel. Dell'Antica Apulia. Archivio Storico Pugliese. 2, 114. 14 ABCDEFGHIJK. Macrobius Ambrosius Theodosius. Saturnalia. 1.1.8. 1.10.4. 15 Kaufmann, Frederick, February 2008. Wasteland, A. Journey Through the American Cloaca. Harper's Magazine. 16-carat Sextus Pomptus Festus. De Verborum Significatu. 432L. 17-carat Marcus Terentius Varro. Lingua Latina. V52. 18-carat in Melanges Agrenia Bruckels, 1962, pp. 757 to 762 as. Cited by Bruckell, 12, p. 141. 19-carat Macy, Samuel L. 1994. Father Time. Encyclopedia of Time. Taylor and Francis. pp. 208-209. 20-carat Brilic, A. 1956. Traversioni Romain Salta Model. Origini. Roma, it. Picaluga, G. 1974. Terminus. Roma, it. 21-carat, 14, 1.7. Cited by Bruckell, 12, p. 143. 22-carat Dumézil, G. 1940. Mitravarana. Paris, Fr. Dumézil, G. 1977. Les Dieux Souverains des Indo Europeans. Paris, Fr. 23-carat Pliny the Elder. Natural History. 2138-139. Cited by Bruckell, 12, p. 151. Morus Servius Honratus. Ad Enidem. I-42, 11-259. 24-carat Dionysius of Halicarnassus. Roman Antiquities. I.19.1. 25-carat Ovid. Fasti. V621662, ESP. 626629. 26-carat Morus Servius Honratus. Ad Enidem. 3407. Cited by Bruckell, 12, p. 148. 27-carat Plutarch. Questions Romani. 2. Cited by Bruckell, 12, p. 148 n63. 28-carat Pliny, Natural History 15.32. 29-carat Robert Graves, The Greek Myths, 1 page 41. 30-carat Tertullian, De Testimonio Animatu. 31-carat Dionysius of Halicarnassus, Antiquitates Romani. 7.72.13. 32-carat A.B. Leglay, Marcel, 1966. Saturn Africaine. Histoire Beffa. Paris, Fr. de Bocard. 33-carat Hansen, William F. 2002. Ariadne's Thread, A Guide to International Tales Found in Classical Literature. Ithaca, N.Y. Cornell University Press. p. 385. 34-carat Chance, Jane, 1994. Medieval Mythography, From Roman North Africa to the Cthul of Charters, AD 433. 1177 University Press of Florida. p. 71. 35-carat Castor, Roberto, ed. 2011. Macrobius, Saturnalia. Books 1-2. Loeb Classical Library. Note on p. 16. 36-carat Virgil. Ennies. 7, 49. 37-carat Marcus Terentius Varro. Lingua Latina. v. 42 and 45. Virgil. Ennies. 8 357 to 358. Dionysius of Halicarnassus. Roman Antiquities. I 34. Festus. Saturnia. 322 L. Pliny the Elder. Natural History. 368. Minucius Felix. Octavius. 22. Tertullian. Apologeticum. 10 cited by Brickell, 12, p. 154. 38 A B C D E F G H I J K. Vesnell, H. S. 1994, 1993. Saturnus and the Saturnalia. Inconsistencies in Greek and Roman religion, transition and reversal in myth and ritual. Brill. 39 Virgil. Aeneid. 8.32325. Cited by Vesnell, 38, p. 143. 40 Pinchel, Mario, Volpi, Giuliano c. 1990. La Civiltà. Minoica in Italia, La Città Saturni. Pisa, it, Paisani. 41 For instance, Orsinius. Eclogue. 23 and De Fioritis. Romanis. 33-37. C. Vesnell, 38, pp 146 and 211212, and Y. D. Mann, Thomas E. J. 1995, 1992. Emperors and Gladiators. Routledge. p. 47. 42 Simon, Michel René, 1990. On Roman Time, the Codex Calendar of 354 and the Rhythms of Urban Life in Late Antiquity. University of California Press. p. 186. 43 Barton, Carlino. 1993. The Sorrows of the Ancient Romans, the Gladiator and the Monster. Princeton University Press. p. 166. 44 Fowler, W. W. 1908. The Roman Festivals of the Period of the Republic. London, UK. p. 272. Bibliography, edit. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Georges Dumézil, 1974, La religion romaine archaïque Paris Pio II, Italian translation, expanded version, La religion romana archaica Milano Rizzoli 1977. Edizioni Trajaziana Cura di Fiorio GC. Dominique Brickell, 1981, Jupiter, Saturnite la Capitale. Essai de compares or Indo-Européen in Revue de l'Histoire. Des Religions 198-2. pp. 131162. Marcel Leglay, 1966, Saturn Africaine. Histoire Before Paris de Bocard. H.S. Vesnell, 1993, 1994, Saturnus and the Saturnalia, in Inconsistencies in Greek and Roman Religion, Transition and Reversal in Myth and Ritual, Brill, pp. 144145. Further reading, edit. Bourand, Felix, editor, Aldington, Richard, translator, Ames, Delano, translator, and Graves, Robert, introduction. New Larousse Encyclopedia of Mythology. ISBN 0-517-00404-6. External links, edit. The Warburg Institute Iconographic Database, Images of Saturn. Aalborg, Ja'far ibn Muhammad, 1488, c. 835 CE. Flowers of Abu Ma'shar, in English and Latin. Translated by Hispalensis, Joannes. Augsburg, de, a hard rat dolt. Retrieved 13 October 2021 via World Digital Library. C. 9th century, depicts and discusses Saturn and his role within astrology. Categories: Saturn, mythology, Roman gods, time and fate, gods, deities in the Aeneid, mythological cannibals. Child sacrifice, Saturnian deities, planetary gods, abundance gods, fortune gods, agricultural gods. Nature gods, earth gods, Cronos, kings in Roman mythology. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF.